Hi guys, this is Kyle again with kayDbait. I'm going to be doing a very controversial video, a video that will offend many people, and I apologize. I do not mean to offend, but I have to instill into people what I believe is in factuality, and when somebody believes that something says something, like the Bible, or any text, history books, even, fiction books, if you're going to say something is in a book, then if it's not, but most people are told what's in the Bible, and they're given examples, and in church you're given religion. Uh, but if somebody says it's in the Bible and it's not, then you're being taught wrong, and that's not fair to you, and it's not fair to the other people. And somebody mentioned something about Easter, as it was just Easter, and then somebody else mentioned that Easter's not mentioned in the Bible, and they said yes it is. So there was an argument. So I said I'm going to do my own research, and I'm going to figure out what all this stuff is. What does it mean? Why are people saying it's not in the Bible? But millions of Christians celebrate Easter. I mean, just last week it was crazy, everywhere, eggs. Anyway, so this is going to be a very controversial issue because it is an extremely widespread religious celebration for Christianity. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to be doing a lot of citations. There's a lot more that I should be doing, but I'm going to see what the response is, and because I'm not just going to start spouting random Bible verses to make my point. That's not fair. I want to figure out how people are reacting to what I originally say, so that I can respond, as opposed to just throwing everything out and then ignoring people. That's not fair, or not giving people a chance to rebuttal. So the word Easter is in the Bible. It's mentioned, but the word Easter in the original text is pascha. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's the Greek word. That's derived from the Hebrew word Pesach. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right either. But that's where they get the word Easter from. They translate it. But Pesach is Passover. It's the only meaning of the word. So the word Easter is actually an incorrect translation, and they actually fixed it in the Revised Standard Version of the Bible. They changed it back to Passover, but they had the word Easter in it. And that's the only mention of the word Easter in the Bible. So when you do that, you say, well, it's a Greek translation of a Hebrew word, and then they translated it to the word Easter, because the Greek word could mean Easter, but the Hebrew word that the Greek word came from, so the original word, could not mean Easter. So it was an improper translation. All it means is Passover, which is an important part of Christianity. It's an important part of a lot of things, but Easter, the word Easter, is actually not mentioned in the original text. It is in the Bible, but it's not the right translation, because I've mentioned before that people can change the meanings of words, and it changes the context of many things, and it was probably just an accident. It was probably just, well, we didn't fully understand it. But then the celebration of Easter came up, and the origin of Easter is actually very interesting, and that's where I was trying to figure out where this came from. The celebration of Easter is actually really interesting. Let me see if I could find my notes. Let's see. Passover should be celebrated by Christians instead of Easter. That's what it says right here. And that's just what I wrote. Out of all the things I came up with, like, okay, if you're celebrating Easter, you should celebrate Passover, because they're actually the same thing, technically. Okay. Let's see. Hot cross buns, which is a part of Easter. I've never celebrated Easter personally, so I don't know a lot of the traditions of Easter. But it says hot cross buns were actually mentioned In Jeremiah 7:18, the children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drinks offering to other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. Now, I had to do a lot of research on this one. Who is the Queen of Heaven? The Queen of Heaven is a whole bunch of different names for her, but one of the names for the Queen of Heaven is Astarte, which also means they are Baal's wife. And another name for Astarte is the same word for, let me look it up. It is Ashtaroth. I can't pronounce that word. Ashtoreth. Ashtoreth was also another name for the Queen of Heaven, which is the one that builds towers. And it's also commented that Baal is another word for Nimrod, and that, let me just double check that. Yes, Baal is another name for Nimrod, so Ashtarte, which is another word for Astaroth, means the wife of Baal, which is the person that built the towers of Babylon. So Easter is actually a Babylonian ceremony, a Babylonian thing, which kind of says Easter is an extremely pagan and anti, not a Christian thing. It's a pagan thing. So pagan celebrations have been, incorporated into Christian ceremonies a lot, to convert people and to make people feel better about worshiping on these specific days. But I also looked up, now I'm still looking stuff up. I'm still saying I can't remember this word, so I'll go look it up. And I apologize for pausing in my videos to do that, but I want to make sure I'm getting all these facts right. Okay, so if you're celebrating Easter, then you're celebrating the wife of Baal, which is bad by Christian standards. Okay, so let's see. Okay, here it is. Deuteronomy 12:28-32 NKJ. I assume that's the name of the Bible. I'm not sure. I am not pretending to be an expert on religion. I am not pretending to be an expert on anything. I am simply stating all of these little facts that I've been getting, and hopefully it's enough to explain things, just to get people to think a little bit more and to look it up for themselves. Okay, Deuteronomy 12:28-32. Celebrating, sorry, that is when God said not to add or take away from his commandments. Do not change stuff. Don't add or remove. And also be careful of, combining your religions with other religions, because that's not true religion. So God said, be very careful. Do not, mess up, because it's very easy to be deceived, or to be, mistaken. Okay. Here's another thing. A lot of people say that Easter was the resurrection of Jesus. Let's see. The Nicene Creed. On the third day, he rose again in accordance with the Scriptures. It says he died on a Friday and was born on a Sunday. It specifically says, died on a Friday, born on a Sunday. And my friend said that. I asked him, when was Jesus born? When did he die? When did he die and when was he reborn? And he said that. It's like, okay, And then he said on the third day he rose. I was like, but that's only 2 days. Does that mean that he was only dead for 2 days, or that Easter would be on a Monday? And he had to think about it for a second. He's like, wait a second. And he had no idea. And I was trying to figure out where he was getting all of this information. If it says this in the Bible and it says that in the Bible and they're contradictory, then either something in the Bible is messed up, or he was taught incorrectly when one of these things wasn't in the Bible. And I was trying to do more research, and it was very confusing because the didn't match. And so I was trying to figure out, if this is when Easter was, and that's why it's celebrated on a Sunday, then is the Bible wrong, or is the celebration of Easter not in the Bible, which would probably be more realistic. That's when I started doing even more research, and I was like, okay, well, Easter is a pagan holiday, which it made a lot more sense. It's being, there's a lot of mention of false things to confuse religious people coming up, devil and all that other stuff. So it was making more sense. It was like, okay, people are being deceived, possibly. I don't know. I'm not going to say where I stand on this. I'm just saying these are the things I've been getting, and there's a lot of it. There's a lot. There's people that just say, Easter is something I celebrate regardless of if it's a pagan holiday, because I'm focusing on the Christian aspects of it, and that makes it good. And I'll play, no pun intended, but devil's advocate. I'll just jump to the other side and say, well, why? If it's a pagan holiday in worship of a pagan idol that it's not mentioned in the Bible at all, isn't that the opposite of what the rest of the other parts of the Bible says? Don't add to my commandments. Don't add to the holy days, because that is against. That's the opposite of holy. It's being bad. So that's how I think. When you start doing the opposite of what you're taught because you've always done it, then you're not just being dogmatic and hypocritical, and you're going against what you believe, and that's hurtful inside. If it's damaging to your soul to do pagan things, why are you justifying it? Are you afraid that that if you change your viewpoints, that you believe you're wrong, that you'll be hurting inside? And obviously that's probably one of the main reasons people are afraid of admitting to accidentally doing the wrong thing. They feel bad. They don't want to admit that they might be wrong. They'll accuse others of trying to mislead their faith. That's what my friend actually did when I brought all this random stuff up. He's like, why do you make me question my religion? It makes me feel bad, because I want you to understand your religion. I want you to be doing what he mentions a lot that he has good faith and that he always believes in God and that he'll do all the things that he's told by God. And it's like, but these are people telling you these things. These are people that are actually misleading you. So it's your faith that suffers. The religion can go wherever. There's a lot of religions. They can preach whatever they want, but it's your faith. It's your belief, and they're hurting it. They're telling you wrong. If you put your faith in the Bible, and they're not teaching you the Bible, they're teaching you their religion, and it's not in the Bible, all of these celebrations and all of these things, then it's hurting you. And that's why I wanted to tell people this. I'm not trying to hurt your faith. I'm not. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in hurting people for the sake of saying they're wrong. I'm trying to explain that there is this information, and I really, really hope that it helps you. That's the only reason I'm saying this. My video, I'm just about to hit 15 minutes, so I'm going to end this. There's a lot to say about this, and I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this. And I apologize for if I offended you, but please look up these verses. I'm going to post them all in the comments, links to them all. So please read them and come to your own conclusions. That's the best I can say. Have your own belief. So, have a nice day. Bye.